This podcast is brought to you by Body Armor. DrinkBodyArmor.com. Only you can be better. You're listening to EPPN's Today with DW, the Sports Edition.
James Harden wouldn't go to the game wearing outdated fashion, so why would he choose an outdated sports drink?
I wouldn't.
He wouldn't. This is Body Armor. More natural, more electrolytes, better sports drink. Thanks, Gatorade. We'll take it from here.
Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday night edition. Today with DW, it's the Sports Edition, and what a hell of a fucking weekend of football. Let me tell you what.
They freaking made up for the last two. They made up for last week. Last week sucked. This week was awesome.
Some of us here on the podcast are not happy about the turnouts of this weekend's football. So
please I was thinking of you all weekend.
Mr. Tom Greer.
Hello.
And Snacks, sad Snacks. Now let's get some music for Snacks.
Stop.
Now, I know it's a sad day in Green Bay. I know Aaron Rodgers may not return to the field, and we'll have to talk about that later in the upcoming segment. But do you have any feelings or anything you want to get off your chest, Snacks?
I hate referees.
Should hate Matt LaFleur. That's who you should hate. You should hate Matt LaFleur.
Well, that was a stupid call, but if you're gonna let it go all game with the hand slapping and tugging and everything else, don't wait till the end of the game. I mean, it was a pretty good tug, but still, they were doing it the whole game, and then all of a sudden you decide to call it.
You're right. No, you're right.
Now let's. I love my Buffalo Bills, but I will root for the Chiefs now. Okay, Rob. All right. We will talk about who we're picking. We'll figure out who we're going to pick later. I think some of the picks might be surprising for some of the fans, but let's talk about the games, minus, who our favorites were or whatever. But I got to say, these past two games, and I don't know what it is, if it's just the hype of the playoffs or it's just the weird random Bills and being in it. And I thought these two games were some of the best games played the entire season. I don't know what it is. I was just excited to watch the games. I didn't really care for really who would win or lose because my team is out of it, but I was really excited. I mean, Tom, what do you think?
Oh no, I mean, I was definitely excited. I mean, I think I'm also like, I'm thinking too fondly of that Chiefs Bills game because in reality, it wasn't that great of a game. I think it was just exciting. Like you're right. It was exciting that the Bills were there finally, and hopefully the Bills can get back there at some point. But the Green Bay Tampa game was a lot of fun to watch. Mm-hmm. And like we just said, the Bills Chiefs game was only fun because the Bills actually made it. It wasn't the greatest game in the world, but it was a good weekend. Like I had a fun weekend right before the Super Bowl.
I've ever been excited with four teams in a playoff, and I guess it's got to be because of the teams. I mean, granted, I'm a Patriots fan, so we've seen them go to 10 Super Bowls, and even as a fan, you're kind of like, I guess I got bored with it. I mean, even though I want the Patriots to be in the Super Bowl.
With so much success. We did so much winning. I got bored of watching the playoffs.
Yeah, I got bored. I'm like,
what a world. What a first world problem.
No shit, right? Snacks, what'd you think, man?
It was a good football weekend. I mean, to see the four teams in there. I mean, granted, you had three teams that hadn't been there in a while. I mean, Green Bay was there, but still, I don't know. It was a good week of football. I gotta say, it was exciting. I was kind of hoping that the Bills were gonna pull it off and beat Kansas City, but
right. I was rooting for the Bills, and I was rooting for Green Bay. And I gotta tell you, Josh Allen, man, he was running. I was like, holy shit, we got a quarterback that I can kind of run. I was like,
But
holy
I feel
shit.
like they didn't do enough of that. Like a lot of
Yeah.
what the Bills did, throughout the whole year that made them so good was Josh Allen could run a little bit and still just throw cannons down the field. But
Yeah.
like, I feel like they didn't do enough of that. Like that wasn't enough of Josh Allen's game. I felt like the Bills basically went to Kansas City and played scared. Like I feel like they stepped into Arrowhead Stadium and realized we're playing the defending champs, and then got away from what made the Bills be the Bills. You know, like they didn't look like the same team that had been playing throughout the rest of the season. You know, like they
Dude,
looked
I don't
like
know,
a team totally outmatched.
I don't know, man, because in the beginning, 9-0, Bills came out strong. Hey, listen, if you're scared makes you edgy. By all means, you want to be scared or whatever, you're nervous. Obviously, they're nervous. Rob says there was too much kicking in that game. That very well could be a thing for sure. But I really thought the Bills had a chance. They dominated the first quarter, I thought, for a little bit. And I was like, wow, they have a chance. And then all
the
of a
reason
sudden,
you play 4, though.
A lot of the games come down to the kickers. I mean, if you got two, I mean, those are the 4 toughest teams in the NFL playing right now that we're playing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's going to come down to everybody was sitting there was going to be close. You know, you heard a lot of the commentators from different channels and media groups sitting there saying it was going to be, you know, a 3-point spread between the Packers and the Buccaneers. And I said, yeah, you know what? They're pretty close. It's going to come down to who's got the better kicker. But I mean, it was
there was no blowout.
Close.
That was great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the Chiefs game was a blowout for a bit until the Chiefs decided to make it like a little interesting with a few minutes left of the fourth quarter. But like, you know, no, I thought it was a lot of fun. I knew, like, I was kind of mad that the Packer Bucks game was the first game of the night because I was most excited for that one. I wanted to see Rodgers versus Brady to get to the Super Bowl. I thought, you know, that's the marquee matchup. Like, I know you're excited that the Bills are there, but like, that's the game I wanted to highlight. That was the one I had circled.
Well, now we're going to have another major matchup, just like Godzilla and King Kong. It's going to be Tom Brady versus Mahomes. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I got to say, again, this weekend was great. I hope I didn't get to research the stats and seeing how many viewers watched this year's games compared to last year's playoffs games. But I got to say, it's got to be right up there. I do know, I will tell you that the local bar scene, the sports bar scene for us, it was crickets. I stopped in and talked with Buster to grab some dinner. And literally, I'm like, I don't want to go down there at 6 o'clock because it's going to be packed and I'm not going to find a bar stool because it's at 50%. There was 8 people in the bar. Let me rephrase that. There was 8 people in the bar. So, but they were getting bombarded with to-go orders. So everybody decided, you know, it is COVID and whatnot. We're going to stay home and do our football parties. And hopefully they listened to There Can Only Be Ones and made sure that they had dips on their list for the number one snack choice.
Or ices.
Or ices.
That's right. Ices. That's for movie theaters. Ices isn't a football food.
That's what we're gonna do. One day this show's gonna get so awesome that we're gonna get a company to sponsor an icy machine for the Ear to Plug podcast studio. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh my God, that would be awesome. That would be
imagine
so cool.
That would be just great.
And I'll
put up a sign that just says "#1 snack" above it or something.
And it'll have a little container. It'll have a little container too of spoons, so you can eat it.
Never eaten an icy with a spoon.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
Before we get into today's show, we're changing things up. Some of you have seen my personal page that we got a major voice actor working with us in the studio. He is part of the Marvel U, which I was shocked about. I did not know this. I am not going to announce his name until we start unveiling the segments. So we're going to be changing some things up with the sports edition in all of Today with DW episodes. And usually this segment I usually keep for Wednesdays and Thursdays. But I figured, you know what? We're going to try to incorporate it, bring all the shows together. So if you follow me over on Today with DW show podcast page over on Facebook, I'll put every couple of days a week, I put up a thing called Asking for a Friend. Now, as a joke, you know, usually when one of your friends is saying, hey, you know, I'm asking for a friend, it's usually them. So, and even if it isn't them, you still think it's them. So I put up a little crazy question. So the one I put up the other day was, and this seems to be a debate that talked among mostly females and moms. How many times do you use the same towel after you get out of the shower? Do you use it once and throw it away? Do you use it twice and not throw it away, but put it in the laundry? How many times do you use the same towel? So I'm asking you gentlemen as well, Snacks and Tom. How many? I will go first. I use it usually 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, that's probably what I was gonna say. I was probably gonna say probably around like 4 times. It's usually like a feel thing. Like I'll feel the towel, and if it feels like excessively wet, it's like, I should probably wash this one.
If it starts to feel crusty, it's time to change it.
Exactly.
I was just going to say, when it's hanging on your shower to dry and you pull it off and it still looks like it's wrapped around your shower in that same form, you might want to get rid of that. But guys, anybody listening or watching, let us know how many times you do. I was talking with some people and they're like 4 times. Ew, that's disgusting. Once. I'm like, I've never used a towel once.
That's a germaphobe. Okay, Howie Mandel.
Yeah, no shit.
That's if you're at the hotel.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good thing too. Yeah, I've only used a hotel towel once because they give you new ones the next day anyway. So I'm just like, here, it's job security. Take care of my towel.
Comes down to how often you want to do the laundry.
This is true. This is true. All right, let's see. So we're all in agreement that it's 4. All right. Anybody watching, and if you're listening to the audio version of this, please put it in the comments through the post. Let us know, and we're gonna try to do that. We'll probably do asking for a friend almost every episode to the sports edition because it is only once a week, and we also do that a couple times a week on the Today with DW regular show as well. So let's get into today's episode. Super Bowl. Now, what number is this now? Because now there's 55. A debate about what number this is. What is it?
55.
Now there's been a debate about that the number's wrong. People were complaining about it online today. So anyway, it's Super Bowl 55. And we talk about, obviously, we talked about the losses and wins over the weekend and how some players may not make the field in the future. And we'll see what happens with the future of some of the players. Finally, a fucking cornhole heartfelt story brought to you by Mr. Tom Greer. Brady versus Mahomes. And guess what? The WWE shows off its peacock feathers, all that and more when we return.
Hello, I'm Baker Mayfield.
I'm Anthony Rizzo.
I'm Donovan Mitchell.
I'm Diana Taurasi.
I'm Ryan Blaney.
And I have something to confess.
I had a formidable Beanie Baby collection.
I used to say YOLO a lot.
I paid a lot of money for ringtones.
I had a sick flowing mullet one time.
My Cabbage Patch Kid's name was Dolores.
I used to rock bleached tips.
I used to rank my friends on MySpace.
I rented movies at Blockbuster.
I used to wear jorts. That's right, jean shorts.
I used to drink Gatorade.
Yeah, I used to drink Gatorade.
We all used to drink it.
It was the only sports drink out there.
Now there's Body Armor.
I drink Body Armor now.
I drink Body Armor now.
I'm Team Body Armor now.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Tuesday night edition of Today with DW. It is the sports edition with Mr. Tom Greer and Snacks. If you're just joining us, we did the fanboy version of sports because we really did kind of geek out weekends games. Again, I would rewatch those games again. I don't know why. Just this weekend, for some reason, I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know what it is. It was just like, holy shit, there's some awesome goddamn playing going on right now. I don't know.
Now you like fully understand what it felt like the beginning of the pandemic when you had when we had sports taken away. Like you're just like you're right. Fiending, you're just fiending for it. You know, like I want to watch the games again just because I want more football. Like I don't want football to be over. You know. Right.
I don't think I could watch that Packer game again. I was yelling at the television in the beginning, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me!
Run for the touchdown, Rodgers.
I just don't get a lot of it. It was like, where did he come up with these calls?
Right. Welcome, Kim. Welcome, Tim. Tim is one of our watchers, and we had a bet going on, and he won both games. Bastard! Wow, he beat me on both games.
I knew my Bills pick was going to be a bit of a reach. Like after common sense kicked in, and I sat down ready to watch the game on Sunday, I was like, the Bills can win, but they're probably not gonna.
So you bet like a Mets fan?
Yes, I did. I bet like a Mets fan. Yes, I did.
All right, there we go.
New Mets, though. New Mets, New Year, 2021 World Series. Here we come.
Yes. All right. So first up, we're gonna talk about it. This seems to be a big topic. Aaron Rodgers leave the Green Bay Packers. What a split would mean for both sides. Aaron Rodgers comments after Sunday's NFC Championship game loss turned the Green Bay Packers offseason into a watch party that could last until the 37-year-old quarterback shows up for the offseason program, if there is one, or the start of training camp. In one of the video conferences, he flung open what previously had been just a small window of possibility that he would not be back next season with the only team he has ever played for in his 16-year career. This quote is, after he put himself into the category of guys with uncertain futures, was this: there's a lot of unknowns going on into this offseason now. I'm going to have to take some time away for sure and clear my head and just kind of see what's going on with everything. But it's pretty tough right now, especially thinking about the guys that may or may not be around next year. There's always change. That's not the only constant in this business. Now, before we get further into the article, Snacks, you are the resident Green Bay guy. How do you feel about this? What do you think is going to happen with this?
I think he's doing the right thing. He's got to go back and think about it. I mean, I understand why he has to think about it is because he's out of, I think he's like ranked 5th in the pay structure for quarterbacks, 5th or 6th. And he's behind like, what's his name there? Kurt. Well, he's behind Ben Roethlisberger. He's behind Russell Wilson. I'm thinking of Kurt Russell. So
yeah, he's definitely behind Kurt Russell.
The Vikings fans would probably rather Kurt Russell.
Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, all these guys that, I mean, he's gotten them to the playoffs. And then he's gotten them to the NFC Championship game, and he's doing that every year. And you got Deshaun Watson, those guys that aren't getting them in it, and they're making more money than he is. Yes, they're younger and everything else, but he proved himself in that game that he can put them in a position to win. I think he was a little bit more perturbed at the fact that they went for the field goal versus going for the touchdown on 4th down. And I think that really got to him. And I think that there's, with him and LaFleur, they're starting to bond a little bit closer. And I think that showed this year, everybody was sitting there that when they drafted Love, they were going to turn around and it pissed them off. It pissed off Rodgers to the point where, why didn't you go out and get me some more linemen? Why didn't you go get me a slot receiver, or this and that? Because, they had all these weapons this year, but they were missing like 1 or 2 components. And the thing is you got A.J. Dillon, who right now, the big call is that they want him to start over Aaron Jones and Williams. But, that's a great 1-2 punch. And Dillon's just a big-ass back in there. So I think that, he's doing the right thing. He wants more money. I think that Mark Murphy, who is the president of the the president of the Green Bay Packers, is going to sit down with them, and they're going to talk about money. I don't think they're going to do it right now. They're going to basically let the Super Bowl is going to come and go, and then they're going to sit down and go to sit down at the table and figure out what they're going to do.
Tom, what's your take?
Because are we like 100% sure that it's about money though? Because like if you really think about it, like Rodgers got paid at one point. Rodgers did make top market value for what a quarterback's making, but I mean, could it just be because that Rodgers just got beat by somebody that got to choose his destination and got to choose the situation that he wanted to put himself in? Like Rodgers has been in Green Bay, cold ass Green Bay, his whole career. And it seems like his entire career in Green Bay, they never draft him any offensive weapons. They literally got him Devontae Adams and said, okay, this is basically all you're going to get. Surround him with a bunch of B and C list talent. His offensive line, like maybe just within the last 2 years, got somewhat okay. And the defense is really not always something to write home about. So maybe like could Rodgers just be looking at it from a sense of, okay, have I run my course here in Green Bay? I want to go play in sunny California where I grew up and like learned to love the game of football, So like, I don't know. I don't necessarily know if it's the money or if it's the same situation that Brady found himself in last year. He was looking around and was like, the talent really isn't here. Like the talent that I need for the end of my career isn't here. I need to get somewhere that does have it, So like hypothetically speaking, like to be honest with you, I think like Rodgers would be a good addition to, I don't know, New Orleans. Like New Orleans going down with Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, and then the stud Saint defense is something that he would absolutely need to get to a Super Bowl or potentially win a Super Bowl, because he's been in Green Bay for as long as he has, got to the Super Bowl one time, got there once, and has been bounced ever since.
But the thing is that, you know, I don't think it's about the money. I think it's about, so they go back to when Brett Favre was there and Aaron Rodgers came in. So when they brought in Jordan Love, they called it Favre'ing him. They Favre'd him.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, and the thing is that, you know, being somebody that's been around the Packers is that, you know, Aaron Rodgers was griping after like I think the second year he was griping, you know, am I ever going to get a start? You know, Brett Favre's going to be here. And then all of a sudden he goes in and says he's thinking about retiring, and then they force him out. So
Yeah.
I don't think the Packers are they're not in the way of being able to do that, Nick, because if they don't have him, we haven't really seen Jordan Love. I mean, they have a couple other backup quarterbacks that they can bring in. I just don't think the Green Bay Packers has it without Aaron Rodgers.
No, but that's the thing, because I'm not thinking about this from a Packers standpoint, because like, I'm sorry, but like you hit on Brett Favre, you hit on Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry, I'm betting on Jordan Love being a bum. I don't expect you to get.
I think he's going to be too. I'm not a big, and I even sat there when they said they picked up Jordan Love. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
why did you
exactly.
get a quarterback? We don't need a quarterback.
Get him a receiver, or get him a stud running back. Get him something that Rodgers can use on the offense that's not named Devontae Adams, because like, yeah, Valdez-Scantling's cool. All the other weird name receivers that he has, they're cool and all, but they're not what Rodgers needs to be put over the top. You know,
they should have went out and they should have used that trade. They should have traded that draft pick and traded up and got some sort of, you know, money or whatever else, but got a stud player from somewhere else.
It didn't take much to get freaking DeAndre Hopkins from the Houston Texans. It took a bum running back named David Johnson, and I think maybe a couple of draft picks. You know, like I don't know. I just don't feel like the Packers have done enough to put around Aaron Rodgers for him to be like, okay, if I could, because he's 38 right now, so he's probably got 4 years left, 5 years maybe.
But they got so whoever they trade if he demands a trade, which I don't think he will, but if they did, they would have to give up 21 million or 22 million, I think, in the salary cap off of their team for that, plus whatever they're going to have to trade for him.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. The Packers aren't going to go and say, "Oh, here you go. You can have our NFC championship."
Oh no, they'll take something. They'll get something for him. No, well, it won't be nothing. I mean, like if the Packers trade Aaron Rodgers, they're going to get a haul for him, because Aaron Rodgers is the best, you know, behind Patrick Mahomes, even though that's kind of, I have a debate on that. He's like, if he's not one, he's 1A of the best quarterback in football, you know? So you're going to get something for him if you decide to trade him. But now I feel like it's a time where the Packers should be like, okay, well, if you're not certain what your future is, maybe this is a time we should maybe think about capitalizing on your value. Because the longer you have Aaron Rodgers, the less the value is going to be, you know, like,
right, but the Packers have got the money. They've got the money to go and keep him. I mean, it's not about, I don't think it's so much about the money.
They're obviously not choosing to give him a raise. I mean, right? They got the money or not. I mean, I think, I think money always is an issue at some point, especially when you're playing, especially for a team that you've been playing for 16 years. I mean, you know, that's like a kick in the ass or in the face.
I think he just holds all the cards right now.
He does.
And like him going out and saying, because he just renewed his contract. He's got 3 more years on his contract.
Yeah.
So, and that's the other thing. So he's already redone it. So now they're going to sit there. You got guys like Ben Roethlisberger. I just pulled this up. So you got Roethlisberger and Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. Those guys are also, he's number 5th. He's making the same amount of money as Jared Goff is from the Rams.
Yuck.
Okay. We've already had our discussion. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. Is he worth more money than Jared Goff?
Yeah.
Now he holds the cards where he can go back to Murphy and say, hey, here's the deal. Roethlisberger is being basically, he's going to be forced out of retirement or into retirement to go out because they're talking about that. So now you've got Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Sean Watson. So now you got 3 quarterbacks that are above him. Is he better than, like you just said, Mahomes is 1 and he's 1A.
Yeah.
So why not give him the money? And I think if they show him that they want to give him more money, and then they're going to go out and they're going to use the draft pick this year to go get what they need for him or trade him out.
But why would he believe that though? Why would Rodgers believe that? Because it's the whole, but the whole, his whole career, like for the most part, his whole career, they have done little to nothing to really surround him with effective talent. Like outside the year they won the Super Bowl, I'll take you because they did win a Super Bowl. Like Rodgers does have a ring, but I mean, like outside of that, I mean, the Packers really didn't do enough to surround Rodgers with the talent he needs to be that exceptional team that wins the Super Bowl. You know, because he is the best quarterback. He's the best quarterback probably I've ever like one of the best skilled quarterbacks.
You're gonna put him above Brady.
Brady's the most successful quarterback I've ever seen in my entire life. He's the GOAT, greatest of all time.
Well, then Rodgers is not A1 then. Let's put it that way. I mean, it can't be. I mean, Mahomes, you want to say is number one right now,
right now, skill-wise, and talent-wise, I'd put Patrick Mahomes and then Aaron Rodgers, and then I'd even give you, and then maybe I'd give you Brady or Deshaun Watson. Like I'm not gonna put Tom Brady on the same at 43 years old on the same level as a 25-year-old quarterback who's gonna probably who could win MVP. You know, I mean, he's not gonna. Rodgers is, but
right. Well, there's some other questions too. I mean, coming out of here, is he serious? Does he really want out? Just like you were saying, like Brett Favre, who waffled anally about retirement toward the end of his career. Rodgers wants to be wanted, as Tom says, he wants to be wanted. I totally get that. Brady, the Patriots gave Brady what he needed. And I really think Brady had a lot to do with who was getting hired and picked up for the team. I mean, they gave Brady what he needed to win. And as Thomas stated, Packers don't seem to do this. It's just weird. If Rodgers doesn't want to live season to season, wondering if each year will be his last in Green Bay, then perhaps he's looking for the Packers to recommit to him. Yes, he has a contract, like Hank said, until 2023, but they could make it clear that he's not just living year to year by restructuring his deal. They could throw more guaranteed money at him. He has none left on the $134 million extension he signed in 2018 to let him know he's their guy beyond just the 2021 season. Another thing, are the Packers ready to move on without Aaron Rodgers, as we just discussed? It could be a change. And let's be honest, we have not even touched on the fact maybe Aaron Rodgers just wants to retire. We haven't even talked to the fact that we're already thinking that he's going to go to another team.
He was already talking about retiring last year. That was why they went after a quarterback.
I understand that, but I don't think I'm not outweighing the option of the fact of he might just hang the helmet up. You don't know.
You don't know. But when you're the quarterback that Aaron Rodgers is, like constantly just like dubbed like the best quarterback, like you have the arguments on if he's better than Brady, even though Brady's got the rings and he doesn't, like that. Right. When you're constantly in that argument, and you played in one Super Bowl, there's no way that doesn't eat at him. And there's no way that he's not thinking, like, especially being 38 years old, thinking, what do I have to do to get myself into that game again? At least play in that game again, because, you know, it's got to eat at him. It's got at least a little bit. I know he's got his one ring, but like he's dubbed like one of the best quarterbacks to ever step foot on a football field. And he's been in one big game, one Super Bowl.
We might as well compare him to Dan Marino. That team didn't have anything for him, and
yeah, Marino but he won. But Rodgers did, like you can't. I don't want to fully diminish a Super Bowl because that is still a really crazy big accomplishment, and not many people get to do it. So like, he did win, but to be dubbed one of the best to ever lace up a pair of cleats, you would think he'd be in more than one game.
Right. Also, one of the other questions, what could the Packers get in return? And we kind of touched on this a little bit. Sources around the league don't believe Rodgers is on the trade market at this point, but if Rodgers asked for a trade, the belief is that a team or teams would be willing to part with a first and either second or third round pick for Rodgers. A Watson trade could help set the market as well, but the expectation is that the Texans would be able to land more than what Rodgers is worth, given that Watson is 12 years younger. So obviously Watson's there's already being talks. So something's going on. Obviously we know. And Hank Snacks mentioned some of the financial ramifications as well. Given all the incentive Rodgers reached this season, his cap number for next year jumped to $37.57 million, just over $37 million, and an increase of about $1.22 or $1.2 million. That means the Packers would save a little more than $6 million in cap space if they moved on by either trading or releasing Rodgers this spring. They would count $31 million in dead money on their cap. If they made either move after June 1st, their savings would be more than $23 million. Rodgers has a roster bonus of $6.8 million due on the third day of the league year this March. That's the only lump sum payment he's owed on the rest of his deal. The rest of it is base salaries, weekly bonuses, incentives. And we already kind of talked. Is Love ready? I don't know if Love is ready for this.
He's not.
I mean,
and the thing is, LaFleur has the ability to put his offense in there with a seasoned quarterback.
Right.
Now you take a rookie quarterback, which he will still be considered to me as a rookie quarterback next year. If they were to get rid of him, they would have nobody to fill his boots.
Right.
It's just the way it is. And the thing is that LaFleur, and it makes it so easy for him because he has a quarterback that is at the age that's been in the NFL for so long, that has been the starting quarterback for so long with the Green Bay Packers, to be able to just tweak some of the offensive stuff and things like that so that he understands it. But
Right.
I'm telling you right now, Aaron Rodgers and LaFleur together came up with the offenses that are running because he feels comfortable. He looked more comfortable this year than he has ever. When he was with McCarthy, when LaFleur was first there last year, he looked so uncomfortable it wasn't funny. And when McCarthy was there, they did nothing but fight over what they wanted to run. You could see him, a play was called in from the thing, and he just turn and roll his eyes and then throw I didn't want to really throw that. But he didn't come out and say that. Now McCarthy's true colors are showing because he went down to Dallas and couldn't do squat.
Right. That's true. That's true.
And look at and the same thing. Take Tom Brady and you talk about the GOAT. Bill Belichick, he has nothing. He has nothing. And now they got to go out and try to find some. It's hard to replace a starting veteran quarterback with a new guy without having somebody there that's going to show you the ropes. And they don't have that. They have nobody there. And you get rid of Aaron Rodgers, you have nobody there to show you ropes because everybody's young.
Well, that's true.
I mean, obviously, Mahomes is the exception to the rule here for that point.
Well, no, Pat Mahomes had a year to learn under Alex Smith. So, like, I'm not going to call Jordan Love Pat Mahomes, but I mean, like, at least Jordan Love had a season to sit behind Aaron Rodgers and see how things go. So, like, if they did trade him, you can at least throw him to the fire and see what you have. Because at some point, if you use that pick on him, you need to see what he is, especially at some point when you're going to have to pay the dude. You're going to have to see what he is at some point,
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. I can't imagine the Packers actually trading Aaron Rodgers, but I know that they would get a bunch for him. They get a bunch for him, and you're going to have to do it at some point, especially if Rodgers is already sounding like he's questioning how he's feeling about being on the field. Like, this might be the time to do it, because
Rodgers is using.
Go ahead.
Rodgers is using this as a stepping stone for multiple reasons. And I don't think that money is the number one reason. I think it's got to do with that he wants to be where he's at, but he wants to be able to have some say-so in what they're getting. And I think that now that he's proven that, he can go back to the drawing table and say, this is what we need to go and do. And I believe that LaFleur believes in him, and I believe Mark Murphy believes in him to the point where let's go out and get the weapons. Let's not waste it on another quarterback or something that we don't need.
Is they haven't like that. That's my whole problem with this is I don't see. Maybe Matt LaFleur believes in him and stuff like that. It'd be hard not to believe in Aaron Rodgers, but the Packers as a franchise since Rodgers has been there hasn't done it. So why am I going to automatically believe, or why is Rodgers going to all of a sudden believe that in his age 38 year? Now the Packers are going to say, well, okay, Aaron, we'll get you all the weapons you need. We'll sign him up. Come on, bring him in. Like, why is he going to believe that this is when they're going to do it now when you had his whole career to do it and you never did it? You only gave him Devontae Adams, and then you ran Jordy Nelson into the ground.
Before I get to my next point, Al says Rodgers doesn't have a no trade clause. They can trade him to any cap team, i.e. Carolina. They will not trade him to a contender. Watson holds the aces in this situation. And
they're going to trade him to whoever. They're going to trade him. The Green Bay Packers will trade Aaron Rodgers to whoever can give them the most back. And if a contender can give them the most back, like picks wise or player wise, they will trade him to whoever. Like whoever comes knocking that isn't in the NFC North. That won't happen.
Right. I agree with you too. So to finalize this up before we get into the next segment, which is kind of like a segue, do you think that Aaron Rodgers talked to Tom Brady? Because Brady stayed with the Patriots for so many years. He's with a new team now. I'm wondering, hey, buddy, how does it feel to be on a new team? Did you get what you wanted? Maybe that move for him is like, hey, maybe it's time. Maybe it is time for me to go to a different team. Brady did it. And they are friends. They're competitive, but they're friends. So I'm wondering if they actually sat down and talked. Brady might influence and be like, you know what? Hey, go to another team, do something different. I mean,
it might not have even been a talk. Like, it might not have even been a talk. It might have just been Rodgers sees, wow, Brady left being in New England.
And now he's in
Tampa. Yeah, and he's just like, wow, maybe I can do the same. I don't know.
Exactly. All right. Well, we're going to go right on to the next segment since we brought up Brady. Mahomes favored over Brady for Super Bowl 55 as the MVP. Tom Brady has won more Super Bowl MVPs than any other player, but he's not the favorite for the award in the Super Bowl 55. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is the odds-on favorite to be named MVP of this year's Super Bowl. Listed at 120 at Caesars Sportsbook. Brady is next at 100 plus 190. Mahomes won Super Bowl MVP last year when he accounted for 3 scores, including 2 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter that helped rally the Chiefs past the San Francisco 49ers for a 31-20 win in the Super Bowl 54. Brady has been named MVP in 4 of his 6 Super Bowl wins. His last award coming into 2017 when he helped the New England Patriots overcome a 28-3 deficit to beat one of the best comebacks I've ever seen. 28-3 deficit to beat the Atlanta Falcons. The quarterback of the winning team has won MVP 29 times, including in 8 of the past 11 Super Bowls. But there are some intriguing playmakers on both teams. Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill and tight end Travis Kelce are each 13-1. Buccaneers running back Leonard Floret is 25-1, followed by Kansas City running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 30-1. Right off the bat, I as I joked in the beginning, it's Godzilla versus Kong, which, by the way, is an awesome trailer. If you haven't seen it yet, you guys are out of your mind because that looks fucking awesome. But this is that kind of matchup. It's the young versus the old. It's like, all right, who's going to take over? If Brady loses, is there a new GOAT? I mean, I'm joking, but again, this has got to be. I think Brady's more nervous than Mahomes maybe in this matchup here. What do you guys think?
I think Brady is Godzilla.
Okay.
He's older. And then Kong is
Mahomes.
And I think that Kong is going to crush Godzilla. I am a huge King Kong and Godzilla fan, but I really do. I think that and if you watch the trailer, which I did, Kong is much smaller than Godzilla.
Yeah, true.
As is Mahomes.
True.
So I think that that's the way it's going to be. I mean, they just got too many weapons on Kansas City. I think they have more weapons than Tampa does, and they're fast weapons. They're not just weapons; they're fast.
Well, I think it's good, but I think this is probably, like, in terms of offensive weapons wise, I think this is probably the 2 closest teams you could possibly get, because for every Hilaire, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce that the Chiefs have, the Bucs have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette's been an animal. They have Rob Gronkowski, OJ Howard. I think it's going to be a freaking awesome game. I'm not shocked that Pat Mahomes is favored to be the MVP, especially since, he's 25 years old and the other quarterback in the game is 43. So that doesn't really surprise me, but I have the people that are ready to anoint Pat Mahomes the GOAT. I kind of been somebody brought this up on one of the sports talk shows I was listening to. Is Pat Mahomes really the greatest quarterback going right now, or is he the best quarterback in the best situation? Because I would argue that Pat Mahomes is playing in an offense with Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, an absolute stacked offense with some of the best players in all of the game. And you have a guy like Deshaun Watson in Houston who's putting up insane numbers. The only reason that the Houston Texans were in games and would probably be putting up the same numbers had he been throwing to Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So, in terms of this game, I'm definitely not ready to give Pat Mahomes the GOAT title if he beats Brady. But
that means I think you need to win more than 1 Super Bowl to be a GOAT.
Totally. Yeah, this would be 2. If you won this one, it'd be 2.
Yeah, you're not taking 10 years of being 10 Super Bowls in experience wise to take it away from him. He is who he is for a reason.
Yeah.
Mahomes is a great quarterback. Has he proven himself? Yeah, last year and going into this year, but that does not make him better than Brady per se. If we're talking career wise, is he the best quarterback this year? I would say yes, but at the same time, no, we don't know. I mean, we're putting up the 2 of the top quarterbacks back to back that we've probably ever seen in a matchup in a long time. And, my question is now, and we talked about this last week, is experience going to outweigh being eager and being excited and being fresh and young. Because granted, Brady doesn't have the Pats offensive line that he had before, so it is kind of new. And you are right too, Tom. These teams are almost 50. They're almost 100% matched. They're stacked right up there together, where it's the most even team one-on-one that we've seen in a long time. It's not one is way above the other. They're right there, neck and neck, where both sides are stacked. So
right, but you're only talking about two guys that are on the Tampa Bay team that have been to Super Bowls before, that can prepare and be mentally for it. Now you're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, who were just there last year.
Yeah.
So a majority of those players that were there last year are already knowing, okay, my game plan is this is how I'm going to prepare for the Super Bowl.
Right.
You've got a whole slew of Tampa Bay Buccaneers guys that have never been there. So the excitement is crazy. So they might be doing this and doing that. And that's the thing. Brady has to reel them in with Gronk and try to bring them back and say, listen, find some of the other players that are on there that have been on other teams that have been in Super Bowl and prepare them for everything that's going to go on. And I've heard that they're not going to be doing a lot of the media stuff like they normally do and everything else like that. And they're going to do it all virtual, because that was a big part of it. Going to these outings and things like that. They had that last year. They were able to go to all that. This year it's going to be a whole different mindset for everybody, because everything's going to be virtual. It's not going to be in person. I mean, look at what they're doing with the Pro Bowl too. They're doing it. It's going to be a virtual celebration. Yeah, that's all it is. And it's so the preparedness part of it is what I'm getting at. So I think that Kansas City going into this is better prepared going into into getting ready for the Super Bowl versus the rest of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, Brady and Gronk have been there, but still. So
Kim says she's ready for the dips.
Always ready for the dips. I can't wait.
Al says anyone talking about Mahomes as the best quarterback ever are nuts. He's a kid that was on a good team, is good and on a good team. Al, if you're still around in 10 years, get back to me about that.
Exactly. Like, we got to see where he's going. We got to see where Pat Mahomes is going. If he stays doing what he's been doing the past couple of years, we'll probably be having this exact same conversation of him being the GOAT,
and you know what?
In like 10 years.
You know what, Al? A team that just gave him $530 million for a 12-year contract can fucking say he's the best quarterback. And they have every right to.
I would love Pat Mahomes. I would love to have Pat Mahomes. But in terms of what you were saying about the best quarterback this year, Herb, the best quarterback this year and who's going to win the MVP and should win the MVP is Aaron Rodgers. That's who's the best this year.
Okay. All right. And I can understand that. I understand that. It's something that I can't argue. And one thing I was going to bring up when we were talking about this, that was a big thing while I was watching the game. Everybody was bitching, 12-year contract. What the fuck are you thinking? Do we think that he's going to not survive, if he's going to last that long with the Chiefs for 12 years, or he's either going to break his contract to leave or they're going to break his? And I was trying to figure out, I'm like, who's been on a team longer than 12 years? And obviously Aaron Rodgers been on for 16. I'm concerned that him being young, I don't see them, and I'm sure there's some type of get out clause. I don't see him staying there for that long. But again, Aaron Rodgers proves you wrong. He's been there for 16. But again, I don't know.
But it all depends on the success level. Like if they're still in the playoffs every year and like contending for Super Bowls every year, of course he'll stay. If he realizes if he realizes that the team around him is faltering or the organization's not doing him right, he'll probably try and force his way out, like later on in his career, like later on in the contract. But no, dude, the Chiefs look unbeatable. Like the Chiefs look like they're just going to steamroll whoever they play and ride themselves to another Super Bowl, Lombardi Trophy. Even though I don't think that's going to happen.
And Andy Reid, as long as Andy Reid's there, Mahomes isn't going anyplace.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see, because you look at the legacy of Andy Reid, and I mean, if you were to go back, it's mind-boggling, because you've got who's the coach for? There's a couple. The coach for the Bills was from his staff.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at, like I said, you look at the staff, and then I think the Rams. LaFleur and was it McVay were on they were on his staff, I believe, at some point with Andy Reid.
I know they were on the Redskins staff. I think they were from the Redskins or Washington football team, then Redskins.
Yeah. But you look at the legacy of Andy Reid, and I think that he's smart to the fact where he's not going to put his quarterback in harm's way. Like when he does those stupid little runs, he's like, listen, you see him, he tosses him. Okay, don't do that.
Yeah.
So
Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk cornhole finally. Yes, we actually can talk cornhole. We're going to talk about the Florida man, maybe be the man who will be lighting the Olympic torch, and today in sports history, plus some WWE news. When we return, don't go anywhere. Grab your drinks.
Calling it a day, Carrie?
Oh no, there's more.
Like what?
More reps, more steps. More this, more that. More time to breathe. More hustle, more grind.
There's more to Carrie Underwood.
And I should wrap by midnight.
Impressive.
And there's more to Body Armor Light with natural sweeteners, no sugar added, and only 20 calories.
And we are back at Tuesday night edition. Today we did the sports edition. I have new toys. I'm having fun with these new sound effects.
All I can hear is the plow trucks going by.
Yeah, because we're getting hit with some major snow right now. You know what? I missed that. I wish I was a kid so I could have a snow day. God damn it! You don't get any snow days when you're an adult. Sucks.
There's not virtual. There's no more snow days because everything's virtual.
No, Glens Falls. I bet you Glens Falls will close down. They're not virtual. They're still in class.
They're making the teachers do stuff from virtual.
Well, I bet you they'll get a snow day. They should get a snow day. But anyway, let's talk. We've been Tom, I think, was really struggling to make me happy this week, as I've been asking him for weeks and weeks and weeks, because I'm the one that started cornhole on one of the first very episodes of the sports edition. But Tom brought on a good article. A discharged Army vet claims cornhole title. Draven Sneed. That's even like a cool name. That's like an action star name. Draven Sneed.
Fancy like Drago.
Yeah. Draven Sneed fancied himself as the best cornhole player around, and why not? You know, the NC State junior had always dominated the game among family members and friends at backyard gatherings and tailgate before Wolfpack football games. But he quickly learned that, as in all sports, there's a big difference in skill between even the best weekend warriors and serious competitors that perform at the highest level. Compared to everyone I play with, I won all the time. He said, I just thought I was really good, Sneed said. I was really competitive until I went to a blind draw tournament last year and played against some really, really, really good players that beat me bad. It was a shock when I went into the blind draw. It forced me to want to get better. I mean, how do you practice cornhole? You just throw a bag in a hole hours at a time? I mean, Jesus.
I guess so.
Can't be that strenuous. Calling on the work ethic he learned while serving in the Army and challenging himself against more accomplished opponents, Sneed just didn't get better. He actually became the best cornhole player around. It's a title he secured in Myrtle Beach on December 28th when the 20-year-old Cherryville native won the Colgate title at the American Cornhole League College National Championships. The third seeded Sneed. Say that 5 times fast.
That sounds like a Dr. Seuss book.
It does. A Dr. Seuss
book. The
third seeded Steed eats green eggs and ham. Was a perfect 12 for 12 in the final against Ryan Figman of Texas to secure the victory. And see, people, you pick on us about reporting on cornhole. The man won. Hold on. $25,000 effing dollars for throwing a bag in a hole. Just so you know. He and state teammate Alex, it was actually scholarship money, but teammate Alex Lipton also made it into the championship match of the doubles competition before falling to a duel from Auburn. Once you get started going well, you start feeling it. Sneed said, you get in the zone and everything just feels like you can do whatever you want. His performance in the singles final was especially impressive since the match was broadcast to national audience on ESPN, obviously, which is a big deal. But we've also seen ESPN do the national international championships of rock, paper, scissors. And that was a $15,000 win.
Did you ever watch the Ocho? Did you watch the Ocho when ESPN did it?
No.
Well, they had a game that was quite hilarious called Slippy Stairs. And oh boy, was it funny.
Slippy Stairs?
Slippy Stairs was literally like, it was in a parking lot somewhere. It was a set of stairs with a tarp over it. And they literally just dumped lube down the stairs. And
lube.
It was. No,
lube.
It was. And it was like a series of like men and women wearing these like colored bodysuits, and they had to run up the stairs and ring a bell. And obviously, because of the lube, they were falling down the stairs a whole bunch. But yeah, that was on ESPN last year. It was
said lube.
It was some amazing television.
I'm sorry. I'm like a 16-year-old kid. You said lube. Sorry. But anyway.
Where's Tracy when you need to talk about Target at the same time?
Yeah, right. Aisle 69, which, by the way, is a real thing, by the way. This is not a joke. When when times are tough, when Target has a aisle just of sex toys in their stores. So something positive
Target's
from COVID.
Target's got everything now.
Yes, they do. I'm sure they have lube too. Anyway, all right. All right. On to Today in Sports History. Today in Sports History is brought to you by the Shirt Factory. Go visit shirtfactorygf.com. They have some amazing shops. We're going to start highlighting them, each of those shops on every episode that we do. We're going to pick a shop a day to highlight, talk about that shop and what they offer at the Shirt Factory. Check them out at shirtfactorygf.com. Now they're open, I believe, every day. Hank, is it every day they're open?
I believe they're open every day. Yes.
Okay. I was told the best times to go are from noon to 5, just because most of the stores have their own individual hours to be open, but that's the best time. So if you ever come up in the Glens Falls area, make sure to check them out. And if you need any more info, go to shirtfactorygf.com. All right.
And the food truck will be coming up soon too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The food, biggest.
I should have the dates for that pretty soon.
Oh, very nice. Awesome. We'll talk more about that. We'll get Coach back on too for that. We'll get Jack back on. Tom, take it away.
Okay, so today in sports history, 1924, American skater Charles, I'm going to butcher this last name, Jutra claims the first ever Winter Olympic gold medal. He wins the 500-meter speed skating event in 44 seconds at the France Olympic Games, because I'm not even going to pretend like I know how to say that city in France. 1969, the first Australian Open women's tennis match. Margaret Court wins the inaugural opening event, beats American Billie Jean King 6-4, 6-1. 1997, Mario Lemieux ties the NHL record with 4 goals in the 3 periods as the Pittsburgh Penguins win 5-2 at Montreal. The 39th career hat trick and the 13 4-goal game tying NHL record by Wayne Gretzky and Mike Bossy. And today is actually a pretty somber day, very sad day, because it is the 1-year anniversary that the sports world and the world as a whole lost the great Kobe Bryant. Like something that I feel like if you were a huge, not even just a huge sports fan, but if that's one of those things where where you were when you heard the news that Kobe died. Mm-hmm. And, it's still like one of the most like saddest things that could have ever hit the world as a whole.
He was also a big component of our sponsor, Body Armor. He was a major component for them for years. It was one of their first major sports ambassadors, very huge within the company of Body Armor. So definitely a sad day. Day as well. And daughter as well, very young to pass away. I believe age 13 she was. So
it was. I honestly still can't believe it. Like there are days that I just can't genuinely believe that. I grew up like I said last week, I was too young for Michael Jordan. Like I caught the tail end of Michael Jordan. Like I remember him on the Wizards. Kobe Bryant was my Michael Jordan. I mean, I hated the Lakers because I grew up like kind of sort of liking the Knicks, but I always respected Kobe because he was just like I always acknowledged this is the greatest basketball player that I've been privileged to grow up watching. So.
Right.
He was a generational ambassador for the sport of basketball.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he had everybody from every generation of that sport. Of course, the kids all wanted to be him, but you had guys, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Shaquille O'Neal, granted they played with him, but still, he brought all that together from both ends of the spectrum.
Right.
Yeah. He did. Like I said, growing up, I was not a basketball fan. I did not. No. I did not watch basketball religiously. I barely paid attention to the Knicks, if any. But I knew who Kobe was. I knew how good Kobe was, and I knew that he was the sport.
And during his rise, the class, as we talked about this, the classiness of basketball players was pretty shitty. Let's be honest. There was a lot of fighting. There was a lot of crap going on. Not like with the Jordan era or the Larry Bird era. And Kobe was that ambassador, as Snack says. It was generational and multi-generational as far as I'm concerned. And he brought some class back to the game. I mean, I literally, like I said, I've said this on past episodes. The minute Jordan retired the first time, I stopped watching basketball. It was like, okay, my year is done. I don't care. I'm out. He left. I'm leaving. And I didn't even really get back to him when he came back the second time because that was short lived. But it's just kind of like, all right, it's kind of changing of the guard. I'm like, all right, I'm going to move on to another sport. I'll see you later. I had my run with Jordan and had a great time with it, and we'll see you later.
Something else. Yeah, no, totally get that. Totally get that.
So obviously, usually when we do Today with DW, the sports edition, the Florida man isn't usually in our topics. That's usually a strange tales section here. But we're going to talk. Florida offers the host. God damn. Florida's got a problem. I think we should just nuke Florida.
It's got Disney World.
Okay, well, nuke everything but that. Make Disney an island. And I do have friends there in Florida.
We'll do calculated, very specific, pinpoint atomic bomb drops.
Yes. And just make Disney World a floating island.
Yeah.
Florida offers to host Olympics if Tokyo backs out. Florida's chief financial officer on Monday told the International Olympic Committee that the state would be happy to host the Olympic Games amid speculation that current host Japan may back out. Jimmy, I'm going to ruin this name. Jimmy Petronas sent a letter to Thomas Bach, the head of the IOC, to encourage you to consider relocating the 2021 Olympics from Tokyo, Japan, to the United States of America. With media reports of leaders in Japan privately concluding that they are too concerned about the pandemic of 2021 Olympics to take place, there is still time to deploy a site selection team to Florida. The letter signed by Petronas posted online cited the supposed strength of the state's vaccination rollout. You guys are a bunch of idiots. Serious? I am not a Florida fan right now. It's economic reopening and sports events has hosted during the pandemic, as well as the fact that it has theme parks, including Disney World. But Florida had struggled badly in the coronavirus pandemic with over 25,000 deaths so far in the state, as the U.S. death toll nears 420,000. Whatever precautions are required, let's figure out and get it done. Last Friday, parties responsible for organizing the Tokyo Games, scheduled for last year but delayed for a year because of the global health crisis, insisted they would be sticking to the planned dates of July 23rd until August 8th of 2021. I'm determined to realize a safe and secure Tokyo Games as proof that mankind will overcome the virus. And this was stated by the Japanese Prime Minister, and I'm not even going to pronounce that name.
Don't blame you.
Obviously, Florida. Obviously, we joke about the Florida man. Obviously, we joke about. I mean, there's always at least one article that comes out of the strange tales or the junk drawer on Today with DW from the Florida. But the fact of their lack of seriousness with the pandemic in the beginning of the pandemic really has really kind of concerns me. I mean, yes, they would meet the protocols, but they got a bad rap through the Corona-19. So I'm not sure if Florida would be a great choice. And it's weird that only Florida is the only U.S. state that's really saying, "Hey, we're over here. We'll take it." Nobody else is putting their hat in the ring.
But Tokyo took how many years to get and prepare for the Summer Olympics?
I understand. Yeah,
they're not gonna. It's not. They're either gonna have it in limited capacity, or they're not gonna have it at all. They're just gonna cancel.
Just postpone it. Like we're in the middle, or wherever we are at this point. Because I feel like we've been saying we're in the middle of a pandemic forever. Like we're just in a pandemic. We're in a pandemic.
Well,
don't know where we are in it, but we're there.
Technically, March 13th will be 1 year.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right. We're almost a year into a pandemic. Why can't we just reschedule the Olympic Games? I love the Olympics. Like there's nothing I love more than getting hyped up for the U.S. to win a bunch of sports that I only care about for 4 years. I mean, 1 year out of 4 years. So I love that. Like I love in the Winter Olympics. I love getting excited about curling. I love having an irrational love for beach volleyball. Like I love that stuff.
I'm sure I know why you like beach volleyball. What are you talking about?
I mean, like we don't have to mention it on air. But like I love all that stuff. I love just getting into.
Yeah.
I love just getting into all these like niche sports for the sake of my country, but push it back a year, maybe, whenever we can do it. And we'll have the Olympics, we'll have them again, just not while everybody's getting sick and dying. How about that?
I mean, not only for the fact of social distancing and whatnot, you're now bringing people and cultures from all over the world. Do we really want to jack this up again? I mean, it's only
worried about a UK flu. We're worried about a UK strand of the flu. Like, what if, I mean, not the flu, of Corona. Like, there's a whole UK strand. What happens if somebody from Siberia or Russia comes and has a Russian strain or something like that? I don't know.
Right.
Well, now there's a South African strain, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
the South Africans here to come compete in Florida just to spread more of the South African version of COVID? No.
Yeah.
I hope nobody in Long Island gets it because they call it the Long Island COVID.
The Long Island COVID, the LI COVID.
LI strain.
Supposedly, the UK strain is here in New York. There's 2 reported cases within the state of New York. So
yeah, and there'll be a lot more when people from the UK come over to here to do the Olympics. So I mean, get the hell out. No.
Yeah, I agree. No Olympics. Give it a year, and let it be.
Love the Olympics. Love the Olympics,
of course. And lastly, up as we wind down today's show, the WWE makes huge moves. It's going to Peacock Premiums streaming, and we talk about this a lot in the pop culture. And the 3 of us here, which is funny, we do a sports edition, but we're really high in the pop culture as well. We know that streaming may be the only thing that people want, and not going to movie theaters. You can't deny Netflix. You cannot deny HBO Max. It is a thing. So WWE is now making its move. World Wrestling Entertainment, or WWE, will shut down its own network and move the program to Peacock NBC Universal direct-to-consumer streaming service. The 2 companies announced on Monday. The multi-year agreement will begin on March 18th with more than 17,000 hours of WWE network programming on demand, in addition to a 24/7 channel. Oh, Sleepy's going to be happy, Hank. Holy crap. What's Sleepy going to do with that? All live. That's an inside thing. All live pay-per-view events such as WrestleMania and SummerSlam will be streamed through Peacock. Original series, including Steve Austin's Broken Skull Sessions and The Undertaker, The Last Ride, will be hosted on Peacock, as will be archived matches dating back to the WCW and ECW days. Holy crap. Wow. That's when I was watching wrestling. Starting in 2022, the companies anticipated 1 signature documentary annually. According to the Wall Street Journal, the deal is worth more than $1 billion and will run for 5 years. Subscribers who can purchase the WWE Network through Peacock Premium for $4.99 a month. The channel currently costs $9.99 a month. Peacock is an innovative platform that will enable us to showcase our more significant events, including WrestleMania, and provide that extraordinary entertainment our fans have come to expect, with a combination of premium WWE content, live sports news, films, and television programs. WWE President and Chief Revenue Officer Nick Hand has also said in a statement that WWE shows Raw and NXT already exist under the NBC Universal umbrella on the USA Network, while SmackDown, which runs on Fox, will be carried on Peacock after the initial airing. Now, this doesn't sound like a big deal because obviously it's one streaming kind of a service going to another. The other thing is it's $4.99. It's half the price of what it used to be if you went through the WWE Network. Now, there's nothing, and I've looked on numerous articles, nobody's saying, obviously because NBC owns USA, and I believe NBC also owns MTV. I think it's NBC or CBS owns MTV. So I forgot which network. I believe it's NBC. And McMahon has always had ties. It is NBC. Because NBC also owns the Sci-Fi Channel. That's why wrestling was on the Sci-Fi Channel for a while. So it doesn't mean like a major move. The move is going to be now, are we getting any free? Are we still going to get the USA Network shows for those wrestling fans? That has not been determined, and it did not say in any article that they were still going to continue going free for a while. So you may see them moving strictly over to a paid service. Instead of by paying $50 for a pay-per-view event and watching WrestleMania, now you're paying $4.99 every month to get everything. I don't know if that's a smart move.
Well, I mean, that they did that with the WWE Network for as long as they have. I mean, like if they decided to take SmackDown and Raw and put those behind a paywall, I think they would kill their entire fan base. I don't know if that's a strong enough product to be put behind a paywall, especially when you've been offering it for free for as long as you have.
Correct.
So I'm sure that'll probably stay normal, but I feel like it's so weird because like they've been talking about for years. I used to be a subscriber to the WWE Network. They would talk for years about how this is the future of the company. This is going to be what makes them their money. Like this is the future. And now they're just canning it and sending it all to Peacock. I mean,
well, I think they've lost a lot. I used to be a subscriber to the WWE Network, and I think they've just lost a lot of it because it was basically a pay-per-view. You're paying the $9.99 just so that you could watch everything that was on every other, once a month or twice a month. They had some spectacular something going on.
Right.
And we would watch it, and it was better than paying $49.99 or $99.99 or whatever it was to watch it on the pay-per-view. Back in the day, you had to do that. So it's the transition of things that they're doing. And I have Peacock because I was watching Yellowstone. I got sucked into that. But I think that they're going to use it for more of the people who want to go back and watch the archive stuff. Also as like the pay-per-view. Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, that's where they'll have SummerSlam and all that. It won't be on your USA or your Sci-Fi. So
I'm with that. That's the best. That was the best part about the WWE Network, was getting to go back and watch all the old stuff. Like I literally would just spend time watching old Monday Night Raws. I watched so many of the old ECW pay-per-views and WCW pay-per-views.
I went back and watched all the Piper's Pit.
Oh my God, Piper's Pit. Oh my God, I forgot all about Piper's Pit. So I feel that this move is going to benefit, obviously, Peacock more than it will the WWE Network. Obviously, because those people are going to get more subscribers at $4.99, even if it's just whatever it may be. It's going to just benefit Peacock a lot more. So obviously, in a $1 billion deal for 5 years, I mean, not that that's not going to help the WWE Network, but with COVID, the lack of ticket sales in the arenas every week, and they're still putting them on, and they're spending a lot of money. Look at all those computer screens or TV screens they got in the seats. I mean, that shit's not cheap, whether it's live streaming or whatnot. They're spending money. So I think they knew that the market's changing, as Hank said, and with the streaming service. And I think it's more of a lateral move. Obviously, McMahon has always been tied with NBC no matter for how long, even I think when it was the WWF. So this is definitely a strategic move. And again, I think Peacock is going to benefit more from it than the WWE. I really do.
Well, I think it actually like, kind of thinking about it, it might help the both of them, because like, think about it, like WWE really hasn't for years had the same feel and same like relevancy as it did back in maybe like the early to mid 90s and in the 80s and stuff like that. So maybe instead of having your own streaming service, instead of WWE having their own central area to stream their stuff, them adding it to Peacock, which is already an established streaming service that has a bunch of other content, will have people like thumbing through, like, what do I want to watch? And then WWE will come up. It's like, you know what? Maybe I will watch that. Like they didn't decide, they didn't want to spend the $9.99 to be a WWE Network subscriber. But the fact that it's like, maybe they're sick and tired of watching The Office for the billionth time. They're like, you know what? Maybe I want to see the Dudleys put someone through a table. Like maybe that's what I'm going to do instead of, so maybe WWE's looking at it as, well, maybe we can get more people to come watch our product again because we're putting it with properties that everybody's watching already.
And a cheaper price. So obviously there's
a cheaper price. Exactly.
Right, and that's what they're looking at, because they're probably showing them the numbers that they've got for people that are right now that are paying $9.99 a month.
Yeah,
for their streaming service through WDO. So they basically took that product and said, "Here, you're buying this, and you're getting it at this price from us, and we're basically losing." I mean, they weren't losing any money because they were getting $9.99 for it. So they're just basically selling it, and they're getting that $1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with it. I agree with it. Kim says streaming for anything is going to be dominant. It is, and and we don't really talk about that in the sports arena or in the sports edition. But I got rid of cable 5-6 years ago. Now I have too many streaming channels. Now I'm like, I'm paying as much as I did when I got rid of cable. I'm like, what is going on here right now?
But you can pick and choose the streaming based off of what you watch. So you don't have to get all those streaming channels. Like, but the other thing is, I got HBO Max, I got Netflix, my kids have something else. So you're allowed to have 4 or 5 people, but it's long, the families. So you're basically getting 3 of them, paying another $30, and then you're getting their 30 and then everybody kind of shares. So you get to watch it. I mean,
I swap. I mean, we swap, but Hulu stopped swapping. You can't swap anymore if you have Hulu Live, so you can't swap anymore. And there was another one. Oh, the other thing is now there's no more. Most of your streaming services now stop the 7-day free trial because they're catching on that people will sign on for the 7 days, binge for 7 days, then sign off, and then wait a couple of months, start a new email account, sign on for another 7 days, and not pay a damn thing. So now they don't do the 7-day free trial anymore on most places. So
that's a lot of look. I understand saving a quick buck and like trying to penny pinch. That is a commitment. Like imagine like living with a streaming service for 7 days out of a month
Right.
And then just coming up with a new, like constantly having to come up with that just sounds so frustrating and time consuming. Like just sign up, just sign up for Netflix.
It's not that bad. I did it for a while. I wouldn't sign up right after the 7 days. Like I would sign up because let's say like the stars. So when American Gods came on, I would sign up after all the episodes came out for American Gods. Watch it for 7 days or watch everything. Watch it for the remaining movies or whatever. Then sign off. Wait for American Gods to come back for season 2. Sign up under another email. Get my 7 days, and then I don't do it. I wouldn't do it like every time the 7 days was up. I would just wait.
That's fair. I just never thought about it because it's just like that's just too many emails for me to remember and have to just come up with off the top of my head. Like I'm not
too much work.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just pay them. They take my money. Take my money. Let me watch whatever I want.
Listen, it's very easy. It's Tom Greer 1 at Gmail. It's Tom Greer 2 at Gmail. It's Tom Greer 3
That's true. I never thought about that.
I have 10 Herb Cloutier 1s. I have 1 through 10 as a Gmail account. So
that's funny.
Yeah. But anyway, streaming, obviously, yes, we don't talk too much about it because it's more of a pop culture end, but streaming is definitely taking over. And
wrestling sport.
What's that?
Pro wrestling's a sport.
Oh yeah, it's a sport. But what I'm saying is, I'm wondering if instead of pay-per-view events, big events, I wonder if the sports. I mean, obviously, you get ESPN streaming. But if they had their own special channel, I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
You could stream. Well, you could stream sports. Like, I mean, like you could have, all the leagues have their own streaming service, like apps that you could like stream games. So you just got to pay for their packages.
Right?
Like the NFL, you got to pay for the NFL package. You can stream.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think of it as a streaming service because you get it through your cable provider. So I don't really think of it as like a streaming service.
Well, you don't have to do it. I guess you do have to do it through a cable provider now. Or I think you might be able to do like MLB at bat or something like that. You could sign up right through MLB.
Right.
And watch all the games.
And on a side note, I had to block my first user here today. This is awesome.
There we go. We made it. We made it.
God. Oh, that was great. Did you see the comments that popped up?
Oh, I did. I very much did.
And we blocked our first user. We have made it. We are now big time.
Let's go.
You blocked somebody.
I had
to fill me in later. I didn't see anything.
It was some rude comments coming from somebody, and I'm not going to give them credit or their name, but I had to block them on our comments. So we blocked them. I'm assuming it's coming. Oh, you know what? I bet you it's coming from YouTube.
It was coming from YouTube.
Was it coming from YouTube?
Yep.
Did you? Yeah. Okay.
It says it in the comment section.
Oh, it doesn't show me. That's weird. It doesn't say where it shows me there. Oh, that's weird. Didn't show
like when I look in the comments on our side, I
see the FB. I see the FB, but I didn't see the YouTube symbol on that comments.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely was though.
Kim, you've been staying on for the whole show. Wow, look at you and a new sports fan. It was the cornhole segment, wasn't it? See, Tom, I told you. The cornhole segment.
That's what got her. I forgot. Kim's an avid cornhole.
Came in last week for the show.
She pops in every week, but she stayed pretty much for the whole show. And everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We are not officially yet, but we are talking about possibly doing a pre-Super Bowl podcast, sports edition. If you guys are interested in that, let us know. If Hank is feeling better or safe enough, you know what? That would be great. You know what we could do, Hank? And we'll have to do something for Tom, but we could have Jack in here and we could have football spread. We could have food here and we can do that as well. Yes, let's do it. But Tom can't eat any of the food. See, it sucks. Tom's so far away. We'll have to ship you something, Tom.
I'll get something. I'll just get something here. You guys tell me what it is. I'll see if I can find something in the area that's like around the same food you guys are eating. I'll just eat it here.
All right, but Tom, Hank, I think we should talk to Jack about that and having Jack come on and having a spread.
I think it'll be tough to get Jack out of anywhere with everything that's going on with the COVID in our area.
Well, you know damn well this is one of probably the safest places in upstate
New York.
Yeah,
I know.
There's nobody but me in here at this point. But yeah, we'll talk about it some more. We're hoping we can try to do it pre Super Bowl. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk about past Super Bowls, revisit some. We'll play some videos that probably will get me kicked off YouTube, and that's fine with me. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining us again on a Tuesday night edition of Sports Edition today with DW. We will be back next Tuesday. Any parting words for the day, gentlemen? Hey, you should be happy there was no poll.
Yeah, thank God.
Any parting words before we go, gentlemen?
Let's go Islanders.
I don't cover hockey. I don't watch hockey. And I don't watch basketball.
Yeah, you don't have to see. It's your parting words. You can
And I
say
really
anything.
don't watch baseball.
What the hell do
One
you
more
do?
month.
Not even a month.
One more.
Not even a
God.
month.
And I'm getting my
Couple
comfy
weeks,
pillow.
boys. Couple weeks.
I'm getting my
Also-
comfy pillow.
Also,
Pitches
this
and
will
catches
be
are reporting.
breaking news. The sports edition will be ending after Super Bowl. So Tom will have his own show to talk about baseball.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody,
Leather and lace.
Season ends.
Tom Gurr.
yeah. All right, everybody. I hope you have a great night, and we'll see you all next Tuesday.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.